Hi, let us understand about the implicit application object. For every application that is deployed within the servlet container, there is going to be a single object which will be shared across all the servlet available within the application. Let's assume I do have a container and an application is deployed within the container. Application can have n number of servlets and all these servlet will be sharing a single implicit object, that is application object or application context. There are some mandate where I need to have a single object maintains the variable across all the servlets. Simple example, number of hits made for any application as well as number of page accessed across the application. Another example is I wanted to maintain some information like database connection information or the application information like copyrights, which needs to be shared across all the servlet. And this is available as an implicit object as application within all the servlets. Let's do a sample. Let me go ahead and create a sample JSP. For test purpose, I am going to create two JSP. One is application context test1.jsp. Let me change the title and I'm going to have small scriptlet where I will have access to the implicit application object. So within application object, I can set attributes or I can get the attributes using the method getAttribute and setAttribute. I'm going to get an attribute with the name application visit and that will be typecasted into integer and I will be storing it in a variable application counter. In case if that attribute is not set earlier, that will return a value null. So I'm going to check whether that value is null or 0 and I'm going to initiate that variable to 1. So I'll check whether that particular counter is equal to null or 0, then I will initiate the value to 0 or otherwise I will get the value what it is returning and I'll be incrementing the value by 1. Once it is incremented, I need to set it into the application context using the set attribute. So application.setAttribute, the same attribute name, and I will be setting that particular variable. So what happened? The value of this particular attribute, it is retrieved from the application context and it is incremented by 1 and it is set back. So every time whenever this particular JSP is accessed, this particular attribute will get incremented by 1. Let me go ahead and print this particular value. So I am printing the value as application counter total number of page visit. And application context has other methods as well to get the server information or otherwise I will be in a position to read some initial variables available as a part of web.xml. Let us see that particular example as well. Now I'm going to make a copy of this particular JSP and create another JSP so that I can verify whether that particular attribute is shared across the servlet or not. And this particular variable, it will be maintained within the servlet container till that particular server is getting restarted. Let me go ahead and execute this specific JSP. It is in the stop state. Let the server get started. So I have accessed this particular page once, so the number of page visit got incremented by 1. And the servlet info, it is providing the information about the servlet. Let me access this page once again. I'm refreshing it. The count will get increased by 1. Now let me access another JSP within the same application. The count got increased by 1. So it is 3 now. Let me access the application from another browser, 4. So irrespective of where the client is, the number of access, it will get increased based on the variable that I am accessing and I am increasing it. So this is a proof this particular attribute will be maintained only one instance across the application. Once the server gets restarted, this particular value will be reset. Let's go ahead and give a try. Let me restart the server and access this page. The count will start getting incremented by 1 and it will get started from 1. The count, it is getting started from 1. And to persist the values available within the application context, we can use a database or some other persistence tool by writing into a flat file or into a database and read that specific value whenever the server is getting restarted. Also, I can use the application context to read a static content available as a part of the web.xml. Let's go ahead and see a small demo. Servlet version 3, the web.xml is not mandatory. I can use the annotation to mention the details for the servlet. In case if it is required, I can go ahead and generate the web.xml, right click the project, Java EE tools, generate deployment descriptor. This will generate the web.xml, and let me go ahead and add a content into this. I'm going to add a context parameter with a name and a value. So I am adding a parameter name as course underscore name and value corresponding to it. The same way I am adding another parameter with the name as author and a value as Muthu for all. Let me go ahead and read this specific parameter using the application context from the JSP. Let me go ahead and add content to read the parameter. So I'm using the method getInitParameter and I am passing the key course underscore name, and that is getting printed using this specific expression. Let me go ahead and execute this specific JSP, run on server. So this particular parameter will be read from the web.xml and the value will get printed. So I do have the course name getting printed by reading the data from the web.xml. Within web.xml, I do have the course name as Tomcat/servlet/JSP. And I will be in a position to read the list of parameters available within the web.xml using the getInitParameter names, or I can get the list of values from the web.xml using the method getInitParameter values. Here I am reading the list of parameter names and that will return the enumeration. Enumeration, it is an iterator. So as long as the elements are available, I will iterate through the enumeration and I will keep on printing the parameter names. So what will happen? It will print two parameter value that is available within the specific JSP. It will read the two parameters that are available within the web.xml. So I do have course underscore name and author, the two parameter names which are available within the web.xml, and that is getting printed. So application context will be used to maintain the variable which needs to be shared across all the servlets within the application, as well as to read it from the web.xml and share the value across all the servlets.